Well, I have a new haircut and I have a new bike. This is my new Forbidden Dreadnought and I've been working on it for over a year. I'll do a full bike check on it later on and run through all the decisions I made, but here's a look at my first run on it on not my typical trail, a flow trail up in Whistler, just to get a feel for how it's running. Blue, you're my boy! I rarely ride flow trails in a bike park, but my son absolutely loves them. And after 2 weeks of making him ride tech trails in the hot Kootenays, I owed him one. So I brought him up to Whistler, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity to try out my Dreadnought, which just arrived the day before. I didn't bring my camera with me, as I was focusing on riding with my son and getting used to my new bike. But we did 2 laps with my friends Bill and Tammy, who brought their cameras, and Bill followed me in the first run down Crank It Up, just so I could get a view of what the bike looked like. First impressions were good. The first thing I noticed was the reduced reach on the Dreadnought, which is a size small and has a reach of 435 millimeters, as opposed to my medium or Bear Rise, which comes in at 450 millimeters. I was looking for something with a little less reach, just to add some maneuverability, even though this is a beefier enduro build. It felt good on the flow trails, and I'm really curious to see how it feels on the tight North Shore Jank, which I'm hopefully going to sample tomorrow. The second thing I noticed was that the suspension was just a little bit too stiff. I took it out with the settings that the guys at the bike shop put on for me based on my weight, but I would like it a little bit more plush based on my riding style. The spring on the EXT shock was 325 pounds. Forbidden actually recommends a 300-pound spring for my weight, so I'm going to swap that out in the next few weeks. I also came home and played around a little bit with high and low speed compression and the rebound settings on the fork, so we'll see if that makes any difference when I take it out for its second ride tomorrow. Another thing I noticed on this ride were the cranks. These ones are 155 millimeters as opposed to 165 millimeters on my Rise. I felt really comfortable in my riding stance, and I'm sure I'm going to appreciate the less chance of getting a pedal strike when I get onto the Jank. As you can see, flowy jump trails like this are really outside of my wheelhouse. In fact, it feels like an entirely different sport to me. I'm just not used to the speed, and I'm terrible at taking off into the air. But I have to admit, it was fun. It was really fun. As I mentioned earlier, I've been working on this build for over a year. I've been working with a guy named Cam at BC Clutta in Vancouver, and he's been fantastic to work with in helping me put this all together. I had surgery last summer, and I used this as a bit of an incentive for rehab over the fall and winter. As we all know, mountain biking can be a punishing sport, and there are a ton of variables when you go out there. The terrain, the skill, which I don't have a whole lot of. I'm full of broken, rehabbing body parts. So I've made every decision on this bike trying to minimize the chance of me getting hurt or fatiguing.
Nice. That was good. Look good.